Hello everyone and welcome to SUNUP. I'm Lyndall Stout. We join you today from Stratford, which is known as Oklahoma's peach capital, but the news here not so peachy for this year's crop. Joining us now is Susan Bergen, the owner of Peach Crest Farms, to talk about how her orchards are looking this year. Susan, thanks for being here.
Thanks for coming out.
Let's talk a little bit first about how your operation is set up, your trees, your orchards, things like that.
Okay, we have about 90 acres of peaches. We are set up to harvest from May 28th, about Memorial Day, all the way through to September 1st. This year we started out harvesting about 20%, and now it's waned off. We've had hail, we've had the late freeze hurt our crops a lot, but we are generally set up to harvest about 6,000 pounds a day all the way through the summer.
And what's the amount? It's considerably less than that thanks to those things that you mentioned.
Yes, it's about 300 pounds a day right now is what we're picking, and some of that has hail damage, so we're very limited on perfect peaches, which is what everybody would like.
Kind of disheartening though for you. I mean, this has to be kind of your baby out here, right?
It is my baby out here, and I try to think of it as the trees are resting to give me a really good crop for next year. So we're continuing to feed them and take care of them and let them get up their strength so that they'll be able to be abundant next year.
Now let's specifically talk about that late freeze. We all remember the extreme lows that we saw in Oklahoma from -20 to almost -30 in some parts. Is that really what kind of was the first hit that these trees took?
That was a very stressing event on the trees, but then we had a really good bloom out in March. We had a lot of moisture coming through. We had the heavy snow, so there was a lot of ground moisture. But then we had a late freeze. Nobody was calling for a freeze. It just kind of, the skies opened up. It was a clear night, and the temperatures went unexpectedly low. If we'd known, we would have called in helicopters. We'd already made that decision that we were going to protect our crop this year. But nature got us, and we're enjoying the 5% that we do have.
And then on top of that, then you mentioned the hail. What did that specifically do to your trees? Peaches usually require to be thinned. You have a really heavy set of fruit, and then you go in, you measure by between your pinky and your thumb, and there's only one peach at each point. So we had thinned the trees, and then the hail damaged the ones that were left. Okay.
So it was a super thinning is what we try to think of it as.
You have a positive spin on that, which
Yes.
I like. Continuing with that positive theme, what variety sort of withstood some of these negative factors that you mentioned?
There's a white peach called the Georgia peach, the Belle of Georgia, and it has withstood, we have it looks like a full crop on those trees. And that's on our highway orchard. There's 40 acres over on the highway. You're standing in a 70-acre block here. So those are kind of whitish peaches, and we will have an abundance of them for the Peach Festival.
And obviously that's a big deal around Stratford, right, is to have, enough to draw people. It's a big event for you guys.
And people don't like to come to a peach festival and not have peaches. So we mercifully were spared one variety, and that'll hopefully fulfill everyone.
Be enough to kind of get you through.
Yeah.
What has these weather events and this year's crop meant for business-wise? I mean, you're significantly fewer peaches.
It's at least 50% of our farm income. It's also, we have to maintain the trees. We can't stop maintaining them just because they're not giving us any fruit. So we had to thin the trees. We have to keep maintaining them, and it's very difficult to maintain something that's not giving you any income.
And is that what happens next, though, once you get through the season? I mean, what do you do to these trees now to get them ready?
Well, we feed them. This is a transitional orchard going to organic. It's a 3-year process to get to organic certification. So we feed them, foliar feed them fish and seaweed. And when the wind lays down this week, which we're hoping it will, we will come through the orchard and feed the trees again. So it's a lot of work to keep going.
So I guess, Susan, you could say that your peaches are on a bit of a vacation this summer.
It's their holiday year. 2011 will be their holiday year, but what has been harvested has been outstanding. These are the early red havens. Mm-hmm. And it's a bend over peach, isn't it?
Exactly, because it drips down your arm.
Yes, fabulous.
Susan Bergen, thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming out.